Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some major news and some major ground to cover regarding Fulton County and the raid that occurred last week over the 2020 election materials. This morning, it was announced that the bad actors, the deep state, in a desperate attempt, in a state of panic, have filed a motion with a judge under seal to try to get their precious ballots and all the 2020 election materials back. They are trying to stop the FBI's investigation in its tracks and prevent bad actors from going to prison for a long, long time. Now we've got a press conference and I've got some clips queued up for you guys, but it gets better because I'm going to show you where Rob Pitts this morning made a stunning admission. I almost can't believe that he said this, but essentially he admitted that prior to the raid, he got a phone call, actually multiple phone calls, and he was given an ominous warning that arrests are, in fact, coming in Georgia. Now, this anonymous source also seems to believe that the Trump administration is up to a lot more than just Fulton County and is actually going to be targeting 15 other states besides Georgia. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to want to miss this. We are going to break it all down, but first, be sure to like the video and subscribe and turn those bell notifications on so you never miss another update. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here's Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts making the stunning announcement that the deep state has officially filed a motion in federal court to stop the FBI's investigation.
May not be factual, because this is a serious case. Now, this morning, Fulton County.
And by the way, this guy's very, very sleepy, very low energy, so I apologize. He's basically like the Georgia black version of Joe Biden, so just bear with him. He'll get to the point. But I think he just said Fultified County. It's actually Fulton County. He's the chairman of the county. He should know that. But anyways, sorry.
Filed a motion in federal court on my behalf, personally, and on behalf of the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections. The motion seeks the return of all files from the 2020 election that were confiscated by the FBI last week during the raid at our Fulton County Elections Hub. The motion also seeks the unsealing of the affidavit that was filed in support of the search warrant that the FBI used to raid our warehouse.
So that was actually new information for me. I actually didn't know this, but they're trying to get the affidavit unsealed. They want to see the evidence that the FBI presented to the magistrate judge that prompted the search warrant. They don't even know what evidence the FBI has. They don't know what crimes they're being accused of. It's actually crazy. I didn't know that. Now check it out. Here's where a reporter asks them, why are you guys trying to get the ballots back instead of just letting the FBI do their job and investigate? I mean, why not just let the situation play out and see what comes about? Listen to his answer.
Mr. Chairman, why do you feel this was a necessary step to get the physical ballots back instead of just letting this investigation play out?
Well, first of all, we don't know where they are. We don't know really who has them.
The FBI, at the FBI's office.
What they're doing with them. Are they being tampered with? I can use my imagination, and I would certainly hope not, but we don't know. So that's why we'd like to get them back so we can take an inventory. In fact, with respect to the inventory, typically I'm told, I'm no constitutional scholar, legal scholar by any means.
You got that right. You don't know anything about the Constitution.
But typically, when these kinds of raids happen, you're given notice that on such and such a date, the FBI is coming or somebody's coming, and be prepared. But we were given no notice whatsoever. They showed up and took the 700 boxes that they wanted. So what they're doing with them now, we don't know. Typically, we're given copies. We don't even have copies of what they took, so it's a problem.
Okay, here's the problem with Mr. Rob Pitts' claim. They say that they want an inventory of what the FBI took, but you had this chick that was dressed up like Michael Jackson while the raid was taking place say that Shay Alexander, you know, the defendant that the DOJ had filed a civil suit against, she actually took receipt and inventory of everything that they took.
County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away.
Yeah, so that retard just admitted that they basically gave an itemized list of everything that was taken. And you know who has them, the FBI, and you know what they're doing with them. They're investigating. So that all that stuff that he just said is nothing but noise. But it gets a whole lot worse for him, because remember, he also said that nobody gave us notice that they were coming. We didn't receive a tip. Well, in this next clip, he admits that somebody actually called him and told him that the raid was going to happen.
Well, I'm told that. I mean, I've gotten I received a call on Monday before last Wednesday, before the raid, that there were going to be arrests in Georgia. Secretary of State, his deputy, Sterling, I believe his name is, me, and 2 or 3 others. That did not happen on Monday. It didn't happen on Tuesday. But lo and behold, on Wednesday, the FBI shows up. And in addition to the FBI showing up, when Tulsi Gabbard showed up and we'd heard a rumor that she may be coming, I couldn't believe it.
So this is actually a stunning admission. He is saying that he received a phone call 2 days before the raid, letting him know that arrests are coming and that Tulsi Gabbard was coming. So somebody had prior knowledge, because guess what? That search warrant wasn't signed until the day that the search was executed. It wasn't like there was a delay between when the magistrate judge signed off on it and they went in. They literally got the signature and then went straight and raided the Fulton County warehouse. So nobody could have possibly known that something was about to happen, unless perhaps it was somebody within the FBI, like an anonymous bad actor inside the FBI. I don't understand how you could possibly have known that something was about to happen unless you had somebody on the inside. And by the way, the fact that he said he knew that Tulsi Gabbard was coming means it was somebody probably pretty high up. So we need to figure out exactly who this person was, because they could have compromised the entire investigation by giving them a warning that they're coming. This person not only called the chairman of Fulton County, but also the Secretary of State's office and Gabriel Sterling, the very people that are under the gun and under scrutiny right now. Now, apparently he didn't get one, but 2 calls. He got one before the raid and one after the raid. So listen to what he says about the phone call afterwards.
After the FBI raid on Wednesday, on Friday, I received another call. Actually, it was this Monday. Same source saying that you guys can't relax. Even though the FBI has been there and they've confiscated the 700 boxes, arrests are coming. So we'll have to wait and see.
Chairman, can you talk about
You heard the man. So ladies and gentlemen, this insider anonymous source that had prior knowledge that they were coming in to Fulton County said that arrests are coming. So this person obviously knows what the hell's going on if they knew that the raid was going to happen and Tulsi Gabbard was going to be there, and they're trying to tip off the bad actors in advance to get prepared for things before they happen. So ladies and gentlemen, arrests are coming. He just said it. His anonymous source tells us that arrests are in fact coming. Amazing that we get this information from the deep state instead of the Trump administration, but I'll take it. Now check it out, because a reporter presses him about his anonymous source that tipped him off about the raid and asked if that person is in the federal government, and he almost lets it slip. But judging by his response to this, I would say it's a resounding yes. Take a look.
Commissioner, you mentioned that you were told not to relax and to be ready for potential arrest. Who was it that told you that?
Well, I won't disclose who told me that, but they are knowledgeable in D.C. So,
Somebody in the federal government?
well, I won't say that.
Yes, that's a 100% resounding yes. Somebody within the federal government that's knowledgeable about what's going on in D.C. I would say 100% that is somebody within government. But hey, deep state's going to deep state. There's still a lot of corruption that needs to be rooted out, and I think that's partially why DNI Tulsi Gabbard was present at the raid, to make sure that there was no shenanigans and they got everything they needed to. But ladies and gentlemen, this old man, this Robert Pitts, Fulton County chairman, I don't think that he's sophisticated enough to be part of the bad stuff going on in Fulton County. He seems way too sleepy, way too old. I think that he genuinely let that slip when he wasn't supposed to. You don't hear Gabriel Sterling talking about the phone call, do you? So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a stunning admission, and hopefully the FBI and Tulsi Gabbard are figuring out who the hell the leaker is, because that could jeopardize and compromise the whole thing. Now, as for Fulton County's motion to return the ballots back to the bad actors and stop the investigation, this could be problematic because he said earlier in the press conference that they had legal experts from around the country working pro bono, volunteering their time to craft this motion in an attempt to make it bulletproof. Okay, so if this gets before the wrong judge in the wrong hands, and you've got some really, really crafty attorneys working on this, then it could throw a wrench in the gears. So we have to keep an eye on what unfolds here. But ladies and gentlemen, that would be pretty unprecedented to see an FBI's investigation halted by a court injunction for any extended period of time, but it could be a temporary halt and a temporary freeze on the operation. But ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, I believe the Trump administration will win out in the end. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to be prepared for a bumpy ride. They're not going to go down without a fight. We know things are going to get ugly if the FBI and the DNI and the Trump admin are truly over the target here and have them dead to rights with evidence of election fraud. Then you better believe that they're going to throw everything that they can to stop this. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the most current development, and I want to keep you guys informed and up to date of everything that's going on. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed to this channel, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell notifications on so you never miss another update. We are going to follow this every step of the way very closely. So ladies and gentlemen, leave a like on the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.